Hello everyone. As I stated in my last video that I was going to do an update on once I received my replacement for the Q17 ShanWan controller. I actually did receive the replacement, and I will go ahead and tell you the directional button started working just fine, but the M button still had no functionality. I did every variation of pushing that button along with the buttons on the back of the controller, and nothing would work. So I just decided to send that one back, and I went with the newest model of their controller, the Q17. I've already played with this thing a little bit just to test it out, and honestly I gotta say I'm much more pleased with this one than I am the other one. So I'm going to go through an unboxing of this controller just to show you what you get, because honestly the Amazon pages are very vague, and from what I could see, no one has actually posted a legitimate or even a clarified video on the Q17 controller, which is ShanWan's newest one. So let's get started. So it comes in this little sleeve here. Okay, and then when you open the box, it's very, very similar to the Q13. You open it, and here it is displayed. So when you open this out, okay, again, this thing actually has an M button on it, but there is no M controls on the back of the controller. So the manual looks exactly like the Q13, tells you how to reprogram buttons back here that don't exist. So apparently their QC from wherever these are manufactured is not very good, because as you can see, it's got a quality control sticker pass right there from ShanWan. So this one, you can still adjust the height of the analog sticks by turning it counterclockwise. The manual tells you have to pull it out, and then you have to twist it and then push it back in to lock it in place. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is just turn it counterclockwise to raise it, clockwise to put it back down. It has the normal buttons up top, a little bit of a grip right here. Honestly, it feels really good to use this controller. These are actually just clicky buttons. Same thing over here, then your right trigger. So for this one, the lights are over here. On the Q13, the power button lights up green. It flashes quickly when you first turn it on, and that's when it's trying to pair to Bluetooth. This one here does something similar. It'll flash like this until it connects to Bluetooth on your phone. So Q13, power button over here, the M button is over here with it. On the Q17, the M button is over here. It serves absolutely no purpose, and I'll show you that on the manual here in just a moment. And then the T button is your turbo function. Same thing as the Q13. These buttons are laid out like an Xbox controller, even with the menu button and the screenshot button that you see over here. These buttons are laid out like an Xbox controller, but they show up in your phone as a DualShock 4 wireless controller, which is a PlayStation. These buttons are, of course, A, B, X, and Y. DualShock is your triangle, your circle, your square, and your X. So again, it doesn't even match. Now, one thing that it doesn't point out in the Amazon page, or even any videos I found online, this one does extend out like this. But something else that this one does, which actually fits phones with cases way better, is it actually goes down as well to give you more inside. I actually have an OtterBox Defender on my phone. It fits in here perfectly. As you can see how much more space you actually get. You got to be careful when you push that down though, because I mean you can see it does have a little bit of flex to it. It tells you in here that it says, even on the side of the box, let me show you here. It says middle part can be pressed down. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense until you actually use it. But, I mean, that's what it's for, is it pushes down in order for you to fit phones in here with cases on them. Again, I have an OtterBox Defender, and it works perfect. I realized after I had recorded the video that I should have put a clip in here to show you what the case actually looks like with your phone inside of it. So I actually have an OtterBox Symmetry case on my phone. And as you can see, the bottom of this controller actually extends or pushes down far enough to where my phone goes right in behind these little ridges here on both sides. And I mean, it feels really good in the hand. It doesn't feel bulky. And I actually put these little rubber covers over the analog sticks, and I think they feel really nice as well. And besides that, I mean, I'm actually very pleased with this case, even though it does have its flaws with the M button not really doing anything. But besides that, I mean, this case is actually really nice. Okay, so moving on from there, take out the insert. So you get these pieces right here. Same thing as the Q13. I said I wanted black analog stick covers, and that's what I got, except these are blue, which doesn't bother me. I like the blue color mixed in with the blacks. Every single ShanWan controller comes with these. It is completely random which color of these analog stick covers you actually get, but they're actually a nice touch. These right here, as I stated in the Q13 video, this is actually made to work with Android or Google phone, so you can actually charge the device while it's in the case, and then it also comes with a Lightning for an iPhone. Well, older iPhones, because of the iPhone 15 being brand new. So that's actually just some warranty information, tells you how to use the adapter, so nothing really further to show you there. It actually comes with this really nice braided cable. All of the ShanWan products come with this braided cable, which is actually really nice that they don't give it in the, like say for instance, more expensive controller and then the cheaper controllers get the cheaper cable. Every single one of their product comes with this braided USB cable for charging. Okay, so moving on, you got your manual here. I'll cover that in just a moment. And then this is actually new for me. This is the ShanWan controller application, the one that I went over in the previous video for the Q13 that I told you didn't have a whole lot of functionality in it. I'll add that to the end of this video just so you can take a look at it, keep you from having to go back and forth between videos. This one is actually new. It's called the Gamepad Space app. I'm going to cover this one as well just to give you an idea of what this is for, but it has an Android and an iOS app as well. Now, the manual for this controller, I mean, some of it does not make sense when you read it, and I kind of covered that in the previous video with the Q13, but you know, this is like a Q&A section here. It's like, you know, if this happens, how do I fix it? Then as of right here, this shows you the mapping buttons here. I've done everything I can for this mapping, and it's not working for me at all. But honestly, the buttons are laid out exactly the way I want anyway, with the exception of them being in my phone as a PlayStation controller versus Xbox. But it shows you here how to map those buttons. But again, my M button hasn't worked since I got the controller. And hopefully this controller lasts a long time, because if not, I contacted Backbone and they're actually going to replace the controller that the L2 trigger actually went bad on. So it's really great on them. Really good customer service through Backbone. So we'll see what happens. Next part I'll cover is the applications for your phone. Thank you. Okay, so there's two mobile applications that ShanWan uses. The first one is the ShanWan controller. It's the green application you see there in the middle on the left, and then the one in the middle there is actually the Gamepad Space that I told you about earlier in the video. So I'll just open that. It says device isn't connected, but it just takes it a second. It'll start scanning, it'll find it, and then it'll connect to it. This application has way more functionality than that ShanWan controller application does. I guess the only thing good about that one is you can actually test all the buttons to make sure they work. But this application lets you dive a little deeper, so you can actually set these controllers to be really anything you want. You can you can add turbo to specific buttons on here. You can adjust the vibration. I mean, they're not incredibly strong to begin with, but I mean, I don't really pay attention to that really. I'm in it for the game, not the vibration in the controller. And then you can do your macros here. I don't have any games that I use macros with, but I mean, honestly, if you ever had a need for it, I mean, you'd be able to manipulate this controller to your liking. If you go over the joysticks, you can actually use this to see if you have any dead zones within your controller. And then I'll do the one on the right analog stick. So you can see, I mean, you have a lot of coverage within here. You can reset it, you can calibrate it, you can add stuff to it. So like if you wanted the sticks to be way more sensitive or to have specific dead zones, like you want to be able to barely touch it and it fly you across the map, then you can do that here. So then you have your curve settings, and then you can customize it even further than that. So next thing is the triggers. So you can actually adjust like how sensitive the triggers are. So for me, I play Call of Duty Mobile, so I like my shooting trigger to be way more sensitive than the rest. So for me, I mean, you can adjust these. Over on the right side, you'll see that the rear dead zone versus the front dead zone. For the right trigger, I have that one set to 30, and that gives me way more sensitivity to just barely be able to tap the right trigger, and it gives me the feedback that I need. So you can control that there, and then of course the gyro, you can add your specific settings in here for if you want to make it to where, like, if you're if you're in a racing game, you could have the gyro in this controller as well. So that's this application in a nutshell, and I hope that this has been helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please comment, subscribe if you wish. And it was very nice having you guys watch this video, so thank you very much for your time, and you all have a great day.